Hey, my name's Andy Schmuckler. Let me give a little context out of which this particular video arises. I publish an op-ed every week in the part of Virginia where I ran as a Democrat for Congress in 2011, 2012. And so it's a very red congressional district, and I put out op-eds, and in several of them, I've spoken of Trump as if I know that he's guilty of crimes, which I genuinely feel that I do. And sometimes commenters in the online places where these op-eds appear have maintained that I'm obliged not to speak that way because the presumption of innocence should be extended to any defendant. We have a constitutional system in which everyone who's accused is considered innocent until proven guilty. And I'm supportive of that. I'm willing to. But I think it's a misunderstanding to imagine that we citizens are in the same position as the jurors. And the jurors are the ones who have to honor that presumption of innocence. Now, as a citizen, I've been very attentive to all of Trump's misdeeds and his. I've watched the evidence over some years now, particularly with respect to the indictments that have come down. I really don't have any. I mean, you say beyond a reasonable doubt. I think we're beyond a shadow of a doubt when it comes to Trump's guilt. I mean, I've never seen the evidence of any crime that's more convincing than what I see about Trump. However, I maintain that if I were chosen to be a juror, I could honestly take the oath to extend to him the presumption of innocence. And what that means is that whatever I may feel that I know of the court outside of the processes of the legal system, which have rules of evidence and a whole system that's been set up whereby what the jurors are exposed to is purified to enable the process of justice to take place. So I could, I believe, honestly say that I will render a verdict in accordance with what is proven in court to be true, beyond a reasonable doubt. I actually don't have any particular uncertainty about whether these prosecutors, in particular Jack Smith, who seems to be more than able, how likely is it he'll fail to prove these crimes? I don't think there's much chance of that. And similarly, I would say that barring there being a juror in each trial, or who is not honoring his or her oath, who does some sort of jury nullification, and so much a Trump supporter that they falsely promised to hear the case fairly. Barring that, I have little concern about whether or not the jurors, an honest jury, would find him guilty. However, I would be able to require that the prosecution prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. That would be true. I could take anything that I think that I know, all the scientific principles and formulas the things that I think that I know about the Earth going around the sun, and about how you compute resistance in ohms in an electric system or whatever, I could say, yeah, I know that, but you've got to prove it. If you don't prove it in the system of a trial, where evidence is brought in and presented in a responsible, honest way, if you don't prove it, I will vote against affirming the charges. So that's basically what I've got to say. Every citizen in the United States should know that Trump is guilty. All it takes is that you've paid a reasonable amount of attention, that you're reasonably well informed, and that you're able to think reasonably clearly about what the evidence shows. But at the same time, I would say that every juror should be able to extend to Trump the presumption of innocence that our Constitution grants. But when we citizens talk about Trump, we're talking about a criminal. We don't need to know more than we know to be able to make the judgments that we are required to make as citizens, particularly if when we've got somebody saying, I want to be president again, and we already know that he committed crimes with the powers of the presidency the first time around. So that's the case I wanted to make. There's nothing wrong with being certain that Donald Trump has committed crimes. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no way that that certainty is inconsistent with what the jurors are required to extend to him during the course of a trial. Thanks. That's what this particular commentary was about. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you for listening.